Hey, how's everyone doing? Make sure I got my mic on. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but this is my first time really going live like this. So I think my microphone is working good. So yeah, the title of this video is how I spent 20,000 US dollars traveling across Africa, and I'm gonna tell y'all my mistakes. And so y'all hold on one second. I'm new to this background thing. I'm get everything set up. So next time it'll be better. It's a little backdrop I bought off Amazon, but my mother had this old antique stove in here, but it's my first live, so I got my table, my microphone, everything set up, so we should be good. Matter of fact, let me go to my phone and make sure that I sound correctly. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see how I sound. Okay. I sound pretty all right. Okay, let me put the mic like this. Okay, yeah. So first thing first, when you're traveling across Africa, well, when you're planning a trip to Africa, you know, in the passport bro space, you know, a lot of brothers need to realize that even though things are cheap over there, but things can still add up. So if you want to do like a budget friendly vacation to where, you know, you get more bang for your buck, because we all know the US dollar has a lot of strength overseas. It can go real far depending on the country you go in. Like right now in Kenya, $1 is like, I think like 121 shillings. So that can go far over there as long as you're shopping and spending your money locally. Like Tanzania, let me say Rwanda, like $1 is like, when I was there last year, it was like a thousand Rwanda francs. Tanzania, it was like, I can't remember what Tanzania was, but I know $100 in Tanzania was like a quarter million when I was there last September 2023. So your money can go far. You know, some countries $5,000-$10,000. You know, you're really rich. You know, you really like high class. You can live in the rich areas that you normally couldn't live in here in the United States. So it's kind of like you're getting a Beverly Hill experience for a budget friendly price, so to speak. So that's the pros, and that's one of the pros of going overseas, traveling overseas, and you know, getting more bang for your buck. Um, you know, you're getting good weather, you know, beautiful women, natural sisters, you know, natural bodies, you know, so to speak. Some might wear the weave and the makeup and the nails, but you're still getting the natural body, no BBLs, none of that stuff. So it's a lot of attention being put on Africa now. You know, a lot of us historically was prevented from being able to afford to get on an airplane, you know, or or making enough income to be able to travel. You know, airplanes now, you know, at one time a flight was really expensive. Like it wasn't no $200 or $300 to go to the Caribbean, or 1,200 to take you to East Africa, 2,000 to take you to West Africa, South Africa as well. So now, you know, it's kind of like, you know, like it's like riding a city bus, a Greyhound. The more people on the bus, the cheaper the price. So it's the same way with airplanes. The more people on the plane, or the most seats on the plane, the cheaper the price will be. You know, so, and depending on the demand. So if it's a lot of demand to go to certain destinations, you know, the price it can become so competitive to where it can drop or go higher depending on where you're going. You know, if it's less people going to a certain area, the price can get higher because the airplane got to make their profit and make it worthwhile going there. You know, it's like giving somebody a ride somewhere on your side of town. Me, depending on if we going 10, 20 minutes out, I need at least 10, 15 out you. You see me? I need at least 10, 15. You know, I can't even, I don't do no hood price of $5, take you 10, 15, 20 minutes out. You gotta make my tank worth it. And, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, right? But so first thing first, this is how I spent $20,000, and this can prevent you from doing what I did. It didn't hurt my pockets, but when I got back, I got to thinking like, okay, some of the stuff I couldn't have done, I could have lessened my expenses. So that was a lesson learned for me next time around. So we all know one of the most expensive things of your vacation is the flight prices. Okay, I'm not gonna count the flight prices because that's a part that's gonna be your biggest expense anyway. Plus, when you're traveling from one country in Africa got 54 countries. I think it's 55, 56. I found out it's an island called Seychelles. I didn't know that was a part of Africa, so I'm about to put it on my bucket list as well. But so traveling from one country to another, it's not like kind of like in the USA. Okay, you can go from Atlanta to California maybe for like $400 or less. Spirit might give it to you for $250. You feel me? Depending on you catch Spirit on a good day, you might be with no space. Your legs might be cramped up, but you're gonna get there. You feel me? Through a lot of turbulence, you're gonna be in the sky battling, but you're gonna get there for the low. So Spirit remind me of the black market. It might remind me like the hood. You get hood prices. You feel me? But I say that traveling from Atlanta to California, you can pay $300-$400, depending on the price. But in Africa, you could be in Kenya. Okay, that can be equivalent of being in your state. So flying like 2 states over can run you like 500. You see what I mean? And the reason I use Atlanta, which is the East Coast, going to California, which is the West Coast, is because for $300-$400 you can get from the East Coast of America to the West. But in Africa, going from West Africa to East Africa, you can pay at least $800, and that's going from like when I left Gambia, I went from Gambia, but I had a layover in Freetown, but we didn't have to get out the plane. Like in Freetown, we didn't have to get out the airplane. But then from Freetown, we went to Ghana. I think I had like a 2-hour layover in Ghana, and then from Ghana to Rwanda. Now I'm going from Gambia to Kenya, so we went from Gambia to Freetown, Sierra Leone to Accra, Ghana, Ghana to Rwanda, from Rwanda into Kenya. But that was like $800. And so you can see also with a lot of layovers, I still pay $800. So going from country to country gonna be real expensive if you're thinking about doing what I call a cross-continent Africa tour. So that's something that you got to be aware of, when you traveling to Africa. So be ready for like high prices. Let me try to talk like this. Okay, I see it's better talking like this. Okay. So yeah, so get ready for the high prices, going from country to country, so okay, your next expense is going to be Airbnbs. If you're staying like me, I like to stay in Airbnbs now because it's more cheaper than hotels. Hotels might charge you, even in Africa, you still get a good price, but you might be paying like, you can pay $60 a night. Maybe up to, you get about $60 a night at a nice resort. Or, I never stayed in a hotel, so yeah, I did. You still might pay like maybe 60, 70. I don't think you'll pay no $80. I was in Kenya, I was at a hotel called the Old Sereni, and it was like, I think like $70 a night. So you're still getting your bang for your buck, but staying there a whole month. So now you got to multiply 70 times 30 or 31, so it can add up. Versus Airbnb, you can get like $30 a night, $40 a night, multiply that by a month, depending on how long you stay there. So I stayed in Gambia for like 26 days. So my Airbnb cost me like $1,500 for that month. And that was my first time having to pay. I had to get like $15 to the owner of the Airbnb. When the power went out, like in Africa, they got like a box, like they call it like a token box. It's where you add money to your power. So when the power went out, I had to give him like $15, for extra electricity. You know, that was my first time going through that experience. And I didn't read the fine line in the Airbnb on that. So, you know, I couldn't fault him. You know, I didn't read the fine print. So it made me really start paying attention to Airbnbs as well. Um, so I flew Qatar Airlines to Gambia. It was like almost like a 24-hour flight. You know, I went from, well, no, last year I flew Turkish Airlines. So I went from Atlanta to Turkey, then from Turkey into Gambia. So the flight cost me like, I caught it last minute. So I paid almost like $1,700 just for the one way. You know, 'cause I booked it late, you know, so sometimes, I mean, you can get it a little cheaper. Sometimes you book it in advance. Yeah, so that's another thing when you travel to Africa or anywhere, period. You always want to book months in advance, so that way you can get a better deal on the price and not pay that last minute demand price. Um, so yeah, so Airbnbs, they're gonna be your next expense when you're traveling across Africa. But this all depends on how long you stay there. Like if you do like a month like me, like I did a month in Gambia, a month in Kenya, I did like 10, 12 days in Tanzania, 10, 12 days in Rwanda. So staying for a extensive period, you know, this all adding up to how I spent $20,000 traveling across Africa. So uh okay, in Gambia I did more cooking. You know, my lady, she was doing cooking for me, so I wasn't really eating out as much. I went to a few like Tamala Beach, Coco Resort Beach, a few little mom and pop type restaurants, you know, and but I was doing more cooking than eating out. You know what I'm saying? I was doing excursions. Also, this is going to add up to excursion. I went and walked with the lions. They got like I had to go to Senegal to walk with the lions, so I had to pay like a fee at the border in order to enter Senegal. So I did a safari. They don't have like top predators in the park. They got an excursion where you can walk with the lions. But then also you can go ride around the small safari park they got. So all these things added up. I couldn't remember the price. I went to visit the Kuta Kente. Where Kuta Kente got captured at, I was able to see that. What else I do there? We did like we had to do like a little boat ride. I think it's called James Island. That's where they kept Kuta Kente and all the slaves that they transported here, either to America or South America, you know, or wherever they sent our ancestors to at the time. So all of that, just all excursions adds up as well. You know, I love to do excursions. I love wildlife, nature. So I'm always trying to, whatever country in Africa got anything to do with wildlife, I'm trying to go there because I love to be in nature. It's relaxing. You know, I feel like my thoughts turn clearer and positive. I feel like I'm at home when I'm in nature. So to all my nature lovers out there, drop a one in the chat if you're a nature lover. so from Gambia, okay, I went to Kenya. Now in Kenya, I did a safari. In Nairobi National Park. Nairobi is the only city in the world that has a safari park right in the middle of it. They preserve like, I forgot how many hectares or acres it was, but they preserve that land for those animals. So that's a beautiful thing when the country refrain, knowing that that land could have turned to a lot of real estate development, but they preserved it for the animals, the natural animals that used to roam there. They preserved it for them. So that's a beautiful thing that, and so while you doing a safari, you can literally look out in the distance and see sky, or, you know, see the buildings and the city life around you. Like that was amazing. Like, you know, it's like you're in the city, but you're in nature at the same time. Like it's crazy. So, what else? Yeah, I did a safari in Nakuru, part of Kenya. I went to the national park there. I was gonna go to the Masai Mara, but something happened. I'm glad it happened, but I'm not gonna speak on it right now because this video is about how I spent $20,000. But the situation could add to the cost. But I didn't give in. You know, I had some police officers trying to extort me in Kenya, trying to get $300 out of me, but I didn't give it to them. So that could have turned to this video. If I would have did that, this video would have been called "How I Spent $20,300 traveling across Africa." That would have added to the cost. So, and you also have to think about transportation. You know, in Gambia, they don't have Ubers or boat like they do in Kenya, or, you know, it's straight taxi. So anywhere you go, you at the mercy of taxi drivers. Luckily, you have having someone with you locally that knows the prices will save you a lot of money, because us coming from America, you know, we used to spending a lot of money on things like we used to high prices. So when people give you an American price overseas, you know, if you're naive, you won't look at it like this person trying to get over me. You know, you'll think, okay, well, it's $10, or well, it's $20. No biggie. Here you go. Plus, he'll take a tip too. You did a good job, but not knowing the price was really $3, but you just gave him 20, so he don't pocket at 17, and you don't hit him off with a $2 or $3, $5 tip, because you're looking at them like, okay, well, let me help this guy out. You know, I know he's struggling, but really he don't made like 23 extra dollars off you, off something that costed $3 or a $3 ride. You understand me? So, and some of them, if you have, you know, if you're a guy, you have a local lady with you, he might tell her in their language, he might be like, but really he just told her, like, why did you say something? Like, why you didn't let me get off on him? Like, so you be like, what the heck? Like, so they just show you that culture, they tied up with each other, but the lady not gonna let you get it. She's not gonna let you get taken advantage of. You know, in her mind, you know, she's gonna represent you right. You know, she don't want you to look at her like, you know, so, you know, 'cause a lot of women know they're looking, you know, they appreciate good men. You know, they appreciate a man that love them, care them. You know, because some of the men in the country might not be that way. So us come from America, we're real chivalry. We like we'll lay our coat over a water puddle for our lady to walk over. You know, I'm just saying how far we'll go. So, so yeah, Airbnbs, flights. I spent a lot of money on flights. 'Cause I traveled from Gambia to Kenya, Kenya to Tanzania, Tanzania to Rwanda, then back home. So, but in East Africa, the clubs are free to get into. So in America, I don't go to clubs. I haven't been out in years. I don't hang out locally or none of that. But in Africa, you know, hey, I was in the clubs every night. I'm turned. You know, hey, I'm getting it in. You feel me? It felt good because, you know, I was in the club. There's no danger. Like, I don't have to. Nobody is mean mugging me. Like, nobody is like hating or jealous or ready to throw a bottle or ready to throw a chair. You know how to be in American clubs. People been up banging it out. You know, people in these countries don't really have guns. I don't know about South Africa. I haven't been there. I heard they got guns down there, but I'm just speaking on other countries that I've been to. They don't have guns, so nobody is thinking like, you know, I'm gonna get this guy, or, you know, who he think he is, or, you know. So them seeing you with local women, you know, they're not looking at you like, okay, what are you doing with our women? You know, that's how women get out of here. You know, they're not doing that over there. So I was going to the club. I don't drink or smoke. So I was able to a couple of ladies I was with, they wanted a bottle of wine. You know, I bought them a wine probably about, you know, $40, $50. I got my bottle, bam. And I might have bought alcohol. Like, I took this one lady on a date. She wanted a bottle of wine. Really, I might have bought wine like 3 times. So that's like 150 you can add up all together. You know, all these are lessons. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get to the, after I tell y'all how, you know, things I spent money on. Okay, then I can sum everything up on how to prevent it. So eating out every day. I'm going to the top restaurants. I'm a foodie, so I love to eat at top restaurants. You know, I love to explore, like, you know, the cuisine that they have to offer. I don't care what the price. When I look at the menu, I'm looking for fish, because I'm a pescatarian. I'm looking for the fish, salmon. I don't care what it costs. Whatever it costs, let me get that. You feel me? Let me get that. So, and I bought a lot of juices, you know, like $1 juice, you know, whatever. I love juices. And I went grocery shopping one time, but I didn't really cook the food. I might have cooked like once, and I let the rest just go to waste, because I was moving so much. And, you know, I was like, well, I'm gonna cook it tomorrow. Then I end up going out to eat. The next day when I supposed to cook, I'm like, well, I cook it. You know, I kept putting it off. So eventually I had to move from one Airbnb to the next. So the fish ended up going bad that I had bought from the supermarket there. And so doing safaris are very expensive. I don't know if how many of y'all ever did a safari, but they are very expensive. One person, well, they got budget friendly ones and they got luxury ones. So I don't experience both. So just by yourself, one person, you can end up spending $700 to $1,000. So imagine you got someone with you. So now that price is gonna double. But the good thing about it, it's all inclusive. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner comes with the package. Plus, you have to pay for the safari vehicle. That all that get added up. So they can be like $150, dollars. So I don't know if it's per. I don't know. I can't remember if it was like per day. Excuse me. I can't remember if it was like per day or like a one time thing. But I think. Hold on one second. Excuse me. I think it could have been per day, but so safaris can add up real quick. So I know I spent thousands just doing safaris. So taking women out on dates. Some of the women I met in each country. Taking them out to eat. Meals can be like $60, coming out at $60. Because you got mom and pop spots, but you also got like 3-star, 5-star spots. So I was spending money at both. So also transportation. A lot of countries got Uber, so using Ubers to go everywhere. Boat. I traveled from Nairobi to an area called Nanyuki in Kenya, and I learned that the Uber and boat drivers will try to take advantage of you as a foreigner. Like, as soon as they hit us English, the price go up. So because the app can say the Uber app can say $30 to take you from Nairobi to Nanyuki, but the boat or the Uber driver going to say that they need more money than that because the app price not right. And by you being from America, you're gonna look at the app price. You're gonna be like, you'll look at it and you'll be like, you know what? That's really not enough money. This is a long drive. It is an hour, 2 out. So why, maybe this app is wrong because there's no way he can take me there and get back off this amount. But when you overseas, you cannot feel this way. Yo, Gene, what's good, man? And so you cannot feel like one thing you gotta learn. You have to move off economics. Like, you have to move off economics. You can't move off emotions. You have to go with what the price saying because this price fits their economy. Like in America, how Ubers can be real expensive. That's because our economy is expensive. High inflation. But when you go to the countries where you get more bang for your buck, you gotta go with the flow. So, and that's a lesson I learned. I learned that because I was giving in. I was giving in to these guys. They was clearly taking advantage of me. So, but going from like Nairobi to Nanyuki to Nakuru to Eldoret. By the time I got to Eldoret, I was like, you know what? I was gonna go to Kisumu. I was like, you know what? Let me get back to Nairobi because all these boat drivers was taking advantage of me. And one of them, he exposed his hand. And I was like, he let $6 to $7 cause him to lose another 100. That's how greedy they can become. So you have to be careful. Taking ladies to the safari park, all this stuff adding up. You see what I mean? So, like I say, eating out, Airbnbs, flights, buying wine, getting overcharged by Ubers and boat drivers, eating out every day at top restaurants. What else? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, so all these things is what. Yeah. Matter of fact, I had to buy a new suitcase. One thing I learned, I won't be bringing back things for people no more. A lot of times we go overseas, people are like, yeah, bring me back this or but I posted some hair products on my Facebook page, some cocoa oil and Chiba powder and shea butter. So a lot of ladies on my Facebook page, they commented, bring me back some. How much is it? So I was looking at like, okay, I'm gonna make a profit. So I might have collected like $400, $500, $600, $700 from those ladies. And I put like a $7 tax on everything. Each order I put like a $7 tax, so it all added up. But the weight was so heavy, I wasn't thinking, like at the time, I wasn't thinking that I'm finna go through all these other countries. From Gambia. Gambia was the first country I went to. So traveling from Gambia through all the other countries, with this heavy luggage, it made my luggage more heavier. So I'm having to pay an extra fee because my bag is too big, it's too heavy over the set amount weight. I'm in the standard weight. So going through every country, I had to do this. And but my bag was so heavy in Kenya, I had to buy another suitcase because the bag was so heavy. I tried to even the weight out and put it in another suitcase. So now I'm paying an extra luggage fee through every country I'm going through. So I was like, oh man, I said I didn't even make a profit. I said because I had a profit, but I'm spending so much money going through the airport, and then I had a Kenyan guy at the airport. He charged me $50 in order to let me come through with the product. So I'm like, oh man, I done broke even. Like so now I'm carrying all this heavy luggage with me throughout Africa, and I'm not even seeing a profit. So all those things added up. So you gotta get prepared to be, like I say, overcharged. Some in Rwanda doesn't do that. Rwanda they deal fairly with you. They don't try to overcharge you. They don't care about your, like, it don't matter if you got an English accent. Y'all in Rwanda, y'all might not understand each other because they speak Rwandese, but he's still not gonna overcharge you. Hearing, even though he hear your English clearly, but he's still not gonna look at you like, okay, let me get over this guy. So I respect Rwanda for that. So I appreciate that, fam. I'm cooking. I'm trying to cook a little bit. You feel me? so so all this, I say all this to say, flights, Airbnbs, eating out every day, taking almost every woman almost on dates, transportation, safaris, trying to take ladies on safari. It's nothing wrong with that, right? But what I'm saying is because you can end up taking a lady on safari and she can become ungrateful. So you like, darn, I just spent all this on her and she became ungrateful on down the line. You understand me? So it's best to do safari by yourself, do like a little 2-day by yourself, and it give you time to reflect on your thoughts while you're out in nature, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's the whole point of the story, is that traveling overseas, I know some of y'all are foodies like myself, but in order to cut your expense down, it's good to do more cooking. I know you see nice restaurants, or you might have a female, I want to take her out. Cause I know in America it's a drought. It's a drought on dating. I know a lot of these women that you don't feel like she worthy of taking her out to eat. We all seen the Cheesecake Factory video, or we might have met women or know women that downgrade a certain restaurant, or you might feel like, okay, taking this lady out on a date not going to get me nowhere. So why I'm gonna waste my time taking her on a date when I know it's not going to go nowhere? So I understand you, brothers. But overseas, try to keep that at a minimum. It's nothing wrong with taking a lady out on a date, but try to keep it at a minimum because, that little $40, $50, $30, it can add up. And this thing, you don't spent $1,000 just on eating out. The same way I did. So it's good to cut down on that. And so what else? So yeah, book your flights in advance. They can make it cheaper. Book your luggage. Along with your flight. I think they can make it a little cheaper before you get to the airport. What else? Yeah, like I say, safaris. Try to do it by yourself. Don't feel like don't feel like you need to ball out in every country. Don't feel like that you need to just spend ridiculously. We know your dollar goes far. We know you you a high value guy, but keep it at a minimum, because unless if you got a lady that you really rocking with, or you feel like it's nothing wrong with that part. But what I'm saying is, try to keep it at a minimum, because you can end up overspending, and now when you get back to America, you're gonna have to get in grind mode, overload to make that back. So luckily I don't make that money back since I've been back. But but I learned my lesson. Book my flights in advance. You know, if most of the ladies don't mind cooking for you. If she don't want to cook for you, like let's cook something today. You feel me? Let me try your local cuisine. Let me try fufu or ugali or whatever the local dish is. Let's cook that. Don't mind do that. My favorite country. What each country got its own vibe. Okay, if I'm speaking on like if I had to say culture, okay, if I had to say like right now, like the countries I've been to, okay, which country that I like the most culture from, okay, I would have to say Gambia on the culture because over there, like us, us coming from America, the idea we got about Africa, we picture people wearing like African print clothing, dashikis, little mascots, they be dancing, stuff like that. Okay, I got to see that in Gambia. You know, some of them dress like some of them do dress like us, but then you'll see them dressing like culturally as well. Like the Africa hats, like women, the women where you see that being worn. Uh, but if I had to say like infrastructure, nightlife, a liberal country, a whole vibe, I have to give it to Kenya. Like Kenya, and you see, I'm still wearing my Kenya wristband. I've been wearing it almost like 2 years now. So Kenya is a vibe. Like if you're looking for like infrastructure, different kind of international type restaurant, like different cuisines, lit vibe, beautiful women, cultural, a lot of things to do. It's like in Kenya and not in Kenya, it's something to do every day. So it's like you'll never get quote unquote bored in Kenya. The women are more they express themselves, they remind you of women here. So I love Kenya. Like Kenya is like a whole vibe. I was actually planning to move to Kenya. I was actually planning to move there, but I was like, you know what? Let me travel to other countries first. So I don't want to be blind to Kenya. Kenya had me blind. Kenya had me blind to the rest of Africa. Like it had me like, I was like, man, when I left Kenya, I was like, man, what was that I just experienced? Like, I said, man, I didn't know. If I'd have known this, I would have moved to Africa 10, 20 years ago. You feel me? But I'm just speaking on each country. I like Rwanda. Because I felt real safe there. Like I didn't feel like somebody might try to, in other countries, you have to be careful with your phone, having your phone out. But in Rwanda, you can just record with no worry. Like you can just record. Nobody gonna tell you, be careful with your phone. You can just record all day long as you want. The people are non-conniving. And you get. I like the scenery one. It's like real hilly. Like it's like you're in a mountain. It's like it feels like you're in the forest, but a developed forest. You feel me? So, and I like the Tanzania too, right? I could see myself staying in Tanzania. You just have to be ready for the corruption there. That's the only thing about Tanzania. But Tanzania real beautiful because you got the ocean. You got a little nightlife there. Nice restaurants. Blah blah blah, and they cultural as well. Like they cultural as well. So yeah, but yeah, I would definitely recommend people like if someone asks me like which country in Africa should I go to first, and from the ones I experienced, I would tell them to go to Kenya first. You see what I'm saying? So, because I know with Kenya they're gonna get like, because they're gonna get all the experiences. I don't want to send them somewhere where, like, take Gambia. Gambia is a beautiful country, right? But there's no Uber or boat. I know they can get taken advantage of. Stuff like that. So I wouldn't want for that reason. For that kind of reason, I wouldn't want to send them there. But I would definitely recommend them to go there. But this year I'm gonna go to Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, South Africa, and I'm debating on like which country. Botswana. I'm gonna go to Botswana. I might do Namibia as well. I might knock about 5, 6, 7 countries this year because I plan to travel to all 54. So yeah, I'm trying to knock them out though. But yeah, that was a good question though. Appreciate the question. And so yeah, but that's how I spent 20,000 in traveling across Africa. You know, with flights, Airbnbs, balling out. You know, balling out of control. You know, chess. You know, not it wasn't my intention, but you get over there and you know, what you got in your bank account, so you're like, let me go ahead and do this. But when I got back, the thing that really got me is like when I got back, I left before I started booking my flights. I had like 32,000 in my bank, so I got back. I had like 12,000. So I said, darn, I blew 20,000 on that mother. You feel me? And but that's when I really got to think. I said, darn, you know what? I could have lowered my expenses if I could have did this. Went this route. Went that route. Cut this down. You know what I'm saying? So when I go back this time, now it's gonna be more cooking. Even though you want to try these different restaurants, but if you're trying to travel the world, and I'm gonna see what's the reasonable amount should I? Okay, I say going to Africa. I say like when you're traveling, you really want to have what they call unexpected expenses or emergency expenses, because anything can happen. That's why I advise everyone to get travel insurance, so that way if you get hurt, the hospital be able to take you in. Because it's not like America overseas, like where in America they don't care if you're an immigrant or not. If you hurt, the hospital got to take care of you by law. Okay, overseas it don't work like that. Either you got the cash right now, or or um or you might not get seen, or you might not be able to leave my hospital or country until you pay this amount. So so yeah, so but I say like after your flights and Airbnb is booked, to be on the safe side, at least to be on the safe side, and just say like you're staying for 2 weeks or a month, at least a 1,500, 2,000. Really, I would really say more than that. But the only reason I would say that, like, if you have to book a flight back, emergency flight back quicker than what you did. I mean, than what you planned on. So you might have to pay a little extra, but just to be on the safe side, I say like 2,000 or 3,000. With travel insurance, that'd be a good budget. Because that way you comfortable. If anything happened, you got the money in the bank to be able to cover that. And because you don't want to travel like when I went to Kenya in 2022. I took my dad. Y'all might have seen him walk past. I'm gonna try to hold this up. Well, I think in the shower. Yeah, this is my first live, so now I know to really block off this whole area, because I seen him walk by right in this goddamn. But anyway, I take care of my pops. We all don't know my pops live with me. I have to take care of him. He at that age and stuff don't happen. So yeah, but yeah, when I went to Kenya in 2022, I took my dad. I spent like 10,000. The trip was like 10,000 for 10 days. Now 5,000 per person, but that's because it was mostly like safaris, and that's why I say safaris are very expensive. And I booked it through a company called Go Way Travels, because at this time I didn't know where to go to. Like I didn't know nothing about Africa. Like I researched, but I watch a lot of wildlife documentaries. So when I called the company, they asked me like what I was looking for. So I told them I want to see the annual migration. So they say, okay. So that's how I got to Kenya. That's how Kenya became the first country that I went to. I didn't know which, and so, but when I went, I had a situation with my neighbor. We had a dog. My two pit bulls had jumped on her house dog. Even though we both was in the wrong, but I paid for her vet, and then she still became greedy and tried to get a lot of money out of me. So I'm like, Pop, go back, man. So she tried to so she tried to just wait, Pop, I can do record. So she tried to get more money out of me, and so I ended up paying a vet bill. I didn't give her. She tried to ask me for $6,000, but I gave her I paid her. the vet had to put her dog down. The vet had to put her dog down, as soon as they told her, like, well, during the surgery, when they say if we do the surgery, if we feel like the dog not gonna make it, we're gonna end up having to put the dog down. So when she heard that, a light bulb went off in her head. But anyway, making a long story short, my spending money went to that. I didn't expect that to happen. So I ended up getting rid of my dogs. Cause I was like, I don't got, I don't have time to be going back and forth with a neighbor. Cause my neighbor, she know how I'm living, how I'm rolling. So people see you living your best life. So they, America, people love lawsuits. They try to find any situation to try to get money out. So anyway, but that caused me to go to Africa. It's just me and my dad. I mean, we had the travel insurance and everything, but I only had like $300 to my name. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm like, man, I'm about to really budget this 300. You feel me? I'm like, forget it. We went. I knew all my food. All my food was included in the trip, so I knew, okay, I don't have to worry about food. And so when I got there, but I didn't notice when I got there, like, even though the food was included in the price, but the drinks weren't. So anytime I bought a juice, it was like $2. So every glass of juice was like $2. So I made sure each meal to get like one glass, and I ended up getting like a bread and breakfast on the street twice. So they were like $25 a night. I had a resort, but I had to get a bed and breakfast to have some privacy. If you can read between the lines. So I came back probably like maybe like $100 in Kenyan shillings. So I did good. I spent $200 in 10 days, and some of the money went to like buying a couple of souvenirs. And yeah, so I have traveled to Africa with only $300 to spend. So, and I made it work. You could take 1,000 or two, but you might not even spend it all. But it's just to have that security. So yeah. But I know in Rwanda, I know I spent like 1,600. I drew like $1 million out. 800 US dollars is $1 million in Rwanda. So I drew that out twice. I remember one of the local ladies, this female Rwanda lady, because in Rwanda they got like, it's kind of like Western Union, but it's like their own version. It's called like MTN, and like when you try, I'm glad I said this. Also, each country that I went in, I make sure I got a SIM card so I can have a local line, so I can call around, and so I can be out and about and still be able to get on the internet, use my Uber app, stuff like that. So, but that was like real cheap, So, but I had to use her. I had to send money to her phone so she can draw the money out the little cash place. And I remember she drew the $1 million. I guess she didn't really pay attention to the amount, but she seen that million. She's like, this is too much. And she never seen $1 million. She never seen $1 million Rwanda francs in her life, because over there they don't get paid like the same amount we do in America. But I got a business, so my money come in, differently. But it just blew my mind. But to us, it was just $800. But to her, it's $1 million. The way we might look at $1 million US dollars, they look at $1 million Rwanda francs kind of like in that same light. So yeah. Oh yeah, so you looking to go back to Kenya next few months? Yeah. I mean, I don't mind going back, right? I might end up maneuvering. I want to go to Uganda too, and I might end up going back to Kenya. And so Kenya's a vibe. Like Kenya's like a country that you're definitely gonna double back to. It'll leave an impression on you. Them Kenyans, they know how to party. They love to party, they fun, they lie, they real welcoming. Like, that's my, like, they tell you Caribou Sana, welcome. You feel me? Even though across Africa, a lot of people they all say welcome, but Kenya, they say Caribou Sana, like welcome a lot, So I just want to end this. I just wanted to make this live to speak on how I spent $20,000 traveling across the U.S., traveling across Africa, to try to prevent, the next person from, I don't want to call it a mistake, but it can keep you in a budget friendly situation you know, like I say, don't feel like you got to ball out at the clubs. You know, don't feel like, you know, you got to buy bottles. And, you know, if the female with you, if you know, if she want a bottle, let her know, you know, I can't do that, baby girl. You know, that's, you know, maybe next time. You feel me? So that way, you know, you don't be, you know, spending more than what you intended. You understand me? So I mean, I know with a woman, you know, you're gonna do, you might do a little something for her, take out, you know, whatever, but don't be overdoing it. You know, you don't have to do it every woman, or you don't have to do, you know, and you can always come back the next time to explore more. You know, don't feel like you got to go all the way out your first time around. You know, but yeah, but that's how I spent $20,000 and so yeah, so book your flights in advance. You know, book your Airbnb in advance. Book, you know, stick to a budget. $30 a night can get you a good spot over there. You know, I always, like when I was in Kenya, I stayed in every country I stayed in. I made sure I stayed in like the best area, the best. I don't want to say rich area, but I'm using the word rich or developed. You know, less crime. You know, affluent people at. So that way, you know, you're in a safe spot. Sometimes, like I said, because over there you can get those spots like $30-$40 a day. You know, it's worth it at the end. You know, than being somewhere where it's not safe and somebody break in and steal all your stuff. You know, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I just want to come on here today and let y'all know that you know, how I spent $20,000 traveling across the USA and how to prevent you as well. So thank y'all for tuning in, and see y'all next time.